Alex and Casey are on the trail of someone who so far proved tricky to find.
So we are in the delightful Burnley this morning. The weather is decidedly awful, and we wouldn't have it any other way, would we?
No.
It's on their tourism leaflets, you know.
I can believe it.
If you want to see proper rain, come to Burnley.
The man they're looking for has been pursued by a local council for a debt of over £12,000.
This is quite an unusual debt. It relates to an unpaid penalty. The debtor actually failed to obtain the correct licence for a property he was letting out in the Burnley area. This particular debtor has actually been quite hard to track down, but we believe we may have found him.
What's the house number? Because we're here, please.
Oh, it's here, yeah. This is the pub.
Are we going to a pub? Okay.
So this is a guy who owes £12,904.12.
Ready?
Yeah. We have looked for this guy before, but the other addresses he's been ganked from. So this is a new trace address.
They support their football team, apparently, because the whole team's on the wall. Nice murals.
If the agents find evidence that the man is living at the pub, they could seize his belongings to sell and recover the money owed.
Rain or storm, out we come.
When you turn up at an address, there's no way of knowing whether there's someone who is highly aggressive behind the door or whether someone is very, very nice and invites you in for a cup of tea.
Try the back.
People very quickly assume that we're there because we're bully boys and we're not very nice and we're just taking money off people, but we're not like that. I'm not like that. We're only human and we see the difficulties that people go through.
See if you can get to the flats.
Yeah, I am. Thanks, boss. Wouldn't know to do it without you.
There's no sign of anyone at home.
Look, Casey, look.
But the female licensee of the pub has the same surname as the man they're looking for.
So they're going to be the governors of the pub.
Alex thinks he could be the pub landlady's husband.
All right, let's go and speak.
Can I just ask you what you're doing?
How you doing, sir?
Yeah, what you doing?
Can I ask who you are?
No, I'm just asking. I asked the question first.
Sure.
You want
Sir,
to-
We have
for
no
a
reason.
start, for a start, you're not going to get anywhere without attitude. You're not going to get anywhere without attitude.
I'm not talking to you. You just shut your mouth.
Right, let's go.
Right,
Talking
sir.
to her
As
first.
a-
I asked the question first, yeah?
Yeah.
You answer my question, then
I
I'll answer
will.
your question.
I will.
The man says he's the person they're looking for.
I've just told you.
Perfect.
Right, so
My name's
what?
Miss Gates. This is Mr. Jace. We're here on behalf of the High Court.
Yeah, so what's the
Okay?
problem?
We have a writ for yourself, so we were not going to speak to you. Just to let you know, these we're wearing cameras for our safety.
There's a camera there. Look.
This
Sick.
and this
That's a daft camera there.
and this camera. Let me finish.
I'm off in a bit.
Take that.
As quickly as he arrived,
Sir,
the man is off again. They're inside a pub where they believe the debtor is living.
we're about 100 yards from Turf Moor, Burnley's home ground, so this is obviously a match day pub, I would imagine. They've even got a lager after Sean Dyche, the manager.
The debt relates to renting out property without a license that was brought in to help regenerate the community. It was a criminal offence. A court issued him with a penalty of £10,000 plus costs. He failed to pay, so agents have been trying to speak to him for months.
You have to treat each case individually, no matter what the case is, because you don't know the circumstances of the person. There may be a very reasonable explanation why the money's owed, why they haven't been able to pay it. And the fact that they owe the money, a lot of the time means it's because they buried their head in the sand. They don't know what to do.
The agents are waiting for the pub's landlady, who says she's the debtor's daughter, but someone else turns up instead.
What's your name?
I'm denying you access. That's where I live.
The man confirms he is who they're looking for. So, not the person who spoke to the agents outside after all.
And I walked through this door and I said, I live up there and I'm denying you access.
But we can't leave the premises, so that's the difference. So let's explain it to you and find out what's happened, all right?
So you've been fined by the council for some kind of licensing issue?
For not filling the form in.
The man claims he was in an impossible position.
There was somebody I couldn't get out of it. And the reason I couldn't get out of it was because the council were paying his rent.
Right, okay.
I can't throw him out, which I tried to do. I tried my best to ask him to leave. He was supposed to be a friend of mine. And the council kept paying the rent for the tenant, even though I didn't have the licence.
But continuing to let the property to the tenant has left him with a bill of over £12,000.
So, because you couldn't get him out, that's when the fine occurred.
Have you got a solicitor? Have you got one?
Yeah, but I'm not prepared to pay a solicitor to look at this. She wants 500 quid. There's another one wants to buy a tip cherry. Give me 500 quid and I'll talk to you.
Although a court found him guilty of the offence and ordered the penalty to be paid, the man insists he was helpless.
What were they doing paying the rent to somebody who didn't have a licence? What were they doing paying rent? So they're actually making me guilty. I'm in a court here and I'm saying, what have I done? I'll tell you what I've done. Nothing. I've failed to fill a form in. End of story.
If we could get some sort of arrangement in place.
You've had your time now. If you want to talk to me outside.
High Court enforcement agents Alex and Casey are trying to negotiate a payment plan with a man who owes over £12,000 to a local council.
We're trying to work it out. If we walk out this door, then it just goes to further.
Get on with what you're going to
I've just said, yeah. So what can you think that you could afford right now to get us into an arrangement to start something? £10 a week. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Are you working? Part-time, full-time? They're gonna check all this, so this is why I have to ask. Part-time. How many hours roughly a week?
20.
Okay. What we do to try to help them is ask basic questions that don't make them nervous and allow them to feel like they're still in control. Okay, what you doing?
I work for myself.
Oh, okay. Doing like laboring or what do you do? Pallets, perfect. We actually tell them that we're there to help them get themselves out of debt by suggesting you make a plan. So you're looking at the bare minimum they ever take is £100 a month, the bare minimum. We get £100 down, that gives you a couple months. If you win your case, you'll get all that money back. If you lose your case, then you're already in an arrangement to start paying it off slowly. We try to help them dig their heads completely out of the sand and make them realize that, they can get through this. They might not think it's help in the beginning, but they soon learn after talking to us for a little bit that we literally are there to help them. So that they can help you.
200 quid now, you're done.
200 quid now, yeah, we're done.
2 months paid.
Perfect, yeah.
Finally, they come to an agreement that works for everyone.
Okay, so this is your receipt. So it just has the arrangement to pay £100 a month, 3 months, then a review for an increase, okay? Very simple.
The first repayment is sorted, without any of the man's possessions being seized and no impact on his daughter's pub.
All right, Paul, we'll speak to you on the first, all right? And our numbers are in there. Okay,
Yeah.
all right?
Okay.
All right then, bye-bye.
Thank you, see you soon.
It transpired he's been fined by the council for not having the appropriate landlord's licence in place, and he's been fined £10,000.
We've set him up into an arrangement. Hopefully that will help him. And, in a couple months, we'll review it.
How successful he will be in an appeal is anybody's guess.
Everyone's had some form of debt in their life, whether it be a credit card, a student loan, something. So we can't sit here as bailiffs and say we've never felt that side of it either. People have chased me for money, so I know exactly how it feels. First thing we see at the door is the human, and that's what I want them to see in us. As we're bailiffs and we're high court officers, or whichever the term they want to use, we're not ogres. We're here just to make sure that the people that owe money are paid that money.